Hello, everybody. My name is Master Juniper Bloom Mystique. I am a true Ascension Master, a Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. Since 2019, I have been bringing through the return of Christ, and it can all be found on this channel. And that is not something I would choose to make up. Okay? Today is a piece of that. So on Mondays, I usually do my weekly energy guidance and tools that you can use. Instead, I need to bring a portal through. So this is, some of you are aware that we just went through a portal shift. We just went through a timeline shift. The portals are the pyramids that I have activated since 2019. They're Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, Myanmar. I don't know if I said that one already. Budapest, Kilimanjaro, Congo, Ecuador, British Columbia, Fiji, Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. There's 13 of them. Those are the 13 portals to heaven on earth. Okay, that is what's happening. It's the return of Christ. All has actually been completed from undoing the Holy Grail, which I just posted that video again for you guys to see 2 videos back on my channel. And that happened Christmas Day of 22, and they called that the resurrection. And the souls of my DM and I have fully reunited through 3 levels, basically. And I know that's a lot to process. So essentially, I also took us into 7D. Now, I know a lot of people are like, no, the collective is causing this. They're helping. Okay, we have a lot of light warriors who are bringing through the word of God, who are helping transmute, who are helping raise the vibration. I'm not downgrading them. I'm not trying to take away from the collective's purpose. I'm talking about my purpose. Since my awakening, I have truly been uniting with my DM on 3 different levels, from Jesus and Mary Magdalene timeline, processing the death of Jesus, undoing the Holy Grail, which was not what you think it was. It is what truly enslaved and trapped mankind and the earth, to clearing the portal of Atlantis, to clearing the portal of the Sphinx and what that truly was, activating all 13 pyramids of the masculine and feminine light, or reactivating them, whatever you want to say, and clearing all darkness out and closing down all 12 portals of darkness, opening up all 13 to light, birthing the new earth, removing all light from the matrix. We cannot be duality any longer. I've talked about that also. There's a lot to it, and I understand that. And it's going to take some time to see it. And not only does it take time to see it, you can't see past your shadow. So you might be able to hear some layers of what I say, but not all, right? It takes a pure heart. It takes full awareness, without shadow and karma, to hear everything of what I say and see all of who I am. And my DM, I did get a walk-in because he didn't even make it on this journey. I almost died 3 times. Okay, so it's very real. Sekhmet and Horus was another part of that timeline healing and uniting with my DM level. Horus rose from the Sphinx. When Sekhmet's power came back, I removed the crystal from the core, changed it from darkness to light. I've repaired the crystalline grid. And, you know, all the power lines will fall. All the false earth is dying at this time. So this week instead, and then also Adam and Eve timeline, which we are now rising, okay? God bypassed some time because not enough people were choosing past the resistance, and the battle was ongoing. So God said, enough. It has been ordered a great reset of mankind. But those that choose to see past the resistance, those that choose to heal and rise, you can't have any karma. We can no longer be duality. So your lens must be of unconditional love, not judgment, not fear. And I'm going a little fast because I need to get to what today is. Okay, and I don't want anybody to get bored and unclick, right? Because it's a lot to understand. The sigil that you see is very important. It's not a sigil, it's a sphere. That is the flower of life grid, and the crystals I have placed. The healing ones that you will see on both sides, which it'll be the cover image as well of the video. I made while I was activating the pyramids. These pyramids I created, they're all filled with Christ light, okay? So this grid is very, very, very important. And in the center, you have a sunstone. So in the center of life is the sun, the light of the sun, the path of the one. And in order to rise, you must be in the path of the sun. Okay? If you choose not to, that's okay. You'll have to be in the karmic demise side, because we cannot be duality. In order to rise, you truly do need to be healed from all past lives, of all karmic ties, all wounds of the soul. You just have to be willing to soul growth, okay? But today is very important, because as I was tuning into the energy for this week, the angels are transitioning. And since I do the work of the return of Christ, as I was bringing through the return of Christ work and bringing down the blood of Christ and all of that stuff, I would continue taking us to Sequoia in between portals, to release timelines, to release past lives. And when we transition through a portal, we do kind of release past lives. We learn the lessons, hopefully. And then once the lessons are learned and we chose love, we get DNA activations and further awakening into more alignment. So not only did I do that for mankind, you have to choose through free will. It's through soul growth, period. You have to learn lessons of all of your karmic ties in order to rise. Only the pure of hearts will rise, okay? Because the vibration has to match, period. We can't be duality anymore, because return of Christ is complete. So all light has been brought down, and it doesn't align with lower vibrational tendencies. Not only that, what was done was not right. They used the light against mankind, and they brought a lot of darkness into the light. They stole a lot of power of the light, and so it is a karmic play out. Okay, but as we rise into 7D, also during the Sequoia healings, I took the angels there, and you can see that in the path to righteousness only, because that's just for those of more pure heart who truly are ready to rise through the one who brought it all about. Because what a gift is that, to have everything healed for you, right? It's a true gift. It's a blessing. So there is an option for the path to righteousness, but again, it's for those who can push past that resistance of it, because the shadow will resist that. So it's for the more of pure hearts, right? And it is a blessing. But in that, I took the angels to Sequoia with us one time. And so this is relevant, because this week, right now, I have to send the angels through a portal that mostly my DM and I are ready to go through. So, if you can receive healing in it, great. But you may not be able to yet, and that's okay, because it requires very high frequency of light. Those that rose with me should have been able to, but I'm not even sure all of them will be able to. So we are going to walk through a portal today, but I'm walking with the angels. So here's what's going on. I'm going to get to this, and then I'm going to read you the cards that are coming up for this week. Portal of sigils and angels rising. So I see this portal, and I see all these sigils of light language coming through. And when I would activate the pyramids, I would send all of these like language of light up them, written in light. It was insane. It was very cool to witness and to be a part of. But this week, the angels are transitioning. What does this mean? I need to talk about this. So I need to walk them through a portal. You guys, this is going to be a lot to understand. So please stay with me. Bear with me here, because I'm going to show you some things really quick, okay? And then I'm going to take us through a healing today. But this is a healing for the ascension. All right. So if you're not quite at this stage, that's okay. It still has to be done. And it has to be included with the return of Christ work, because that's what it is. I'm going to be transitioning the angels through a portal today. Why? Because in 7D, they will walk more in physical form. We are going to walk in a galactic realm. We are going to exist in a galactic realm with extraterrestrials, with angels. We will walk amongst the gods. And in order to do that, you have to be in a very high vibrational state. But not only that, they have to transition too, because they have been separate from walking amongst the earth. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So really quick, let me show you something. So recently, since God bypassed some time because not a lot of people were choosing past the resistance, choosing past the illusion and choosing love, we can't sit here and continue to allow darkness to try to take down the light, because it is a battle. It truly is. But I want to show you something. So when I birthed the new earth recently, let me share this with you really quick. These can be found on my channel, but you do need to truly push past resistance to see it. You can only see to where your shadow lies. Okay, and so I understand that. This is the crystal grid that I was channeled or drawn to channel and create today. But this is my YouTube channel. This is the Ascension Return of Christ playlist. And you can see all of the work I did over since 2019 in order and how it played out. Clearing Mount Shasta, activating Fiji, but awakening the God portals. Okay, so the gods will walk amongst us. Angels, we will all coexist in 7D realms. So that's why in order to truly rise, you have to be pure of heart. You can't take shadow with you. You can't be a wounded soul anymore. We have to let go of all karma. We have to heal it. Okay, so here is the Sphinx and Pharaoh and God activation portal. Now that might come in today as well, because in the bottom of the Sphinx, there is a portal of kind of like a black hole, and they call it a portal of time. But not only that, that's where Horus rose from. So Sekhmet built the Sphinx because that's where Horus was murdered. That's where his soul laid, his body laid when he died. And so she built the Sphinx over him. And when I cleared it during the Return of Christ work, you can watch that too. That was recently. He rose, his soul Atai rose from the Sphinx, and that will be found right here. And it united with my DM. Okay, so that is who we are. Not only that, if you watch this one, Jesus's soul finally unites with my DM as well. And Sekhmet was me, Mary, and Eve. Okay, it's all the same soul, different lifetimes. And again, this is only for those who are ready to hear it and ready to rise, because these are very vast things. They're very real. But while I was birthing the new earth, day one, God fully aligned my soul and my DM and I with Adam and Eve. I felt it, from those lifetimes, and then I kept processing that later. Day 2 was the planetary alignment for 7D. Day 3 was the sun and the moon alignment. Day 4 was the new seasons were realigned, created, life expansion, food. Day 5, I brought over the Earth's root, the chakra system, and implemented it. The brain, cerebral cortex of the Earth, because she's very alive. Day 6, calling back all light. So you can't carry light in the matrix anymore. You cannot be duality anymore. That's not a joke. If you choose to try to remain duality through free will, you just can't rise. You cannot carry darkness into light anymore. We have to heal it all, every bit of it, from the virus matrix wall to all karmic past lifetimes, everything. But in day 8 was the life, death, rebirth cycle, and the end of time portal of life. Heart reviews applied. 888. This was done on Lionsgate this year. And this is the final portal past that of the Nile. Okay, so the Nile, Sekhmet, and Horus was the final portal. And in order to live amongst Adam and Eve's energy, Return of Christ, you have to make it through the final portal of light. And in order to do that, you have to be free of all karmic demise and all shadow, okay? But this kept coming in for my energy today. The life and death rebirth cycle, end of time portal of life heart reviews. We're closer than you guys think we are to that final portal. When it comes, I don't, time is irrelevant. We can't pinpoint. God would never give you a date because, number one, the false time doesn't align, okay? Number two, you're already rising. So either you're rising or not. And that's in the message I'm about to give you. But this is a portal of time, okay? And it reminds me of kind of what I'm doing with the angels today. So the angels are going to walk through a rebirth cycle today. I I need to bring them through a rebirth cycle, and I'm going to explain that, okay? I'm going to explain what that means. So I'm going to stop sharing right here. I am going to, during the healing, we'll play a little bit of my Hertz music for you. But this is the message that came through for those that are still with me, is that portal of sigils and angels are rising. Angels are going through their own transforming phase. So that's who I am. I not only changed the earth, brought back all of my light, brought the union of my twin soul through 3 different levels of lifetime, removed all darkness and separated all darkness from light, activated all the pyramids. And you don't have to believe me because it's all here. If you truly watch the videos, one can't deny it. Even I can't, okay? It's been my own awakening. It's been very strange, oftentimes rearranged, very painful, and I almost didn't survive because it is a battle. Okay, they didn't want that. They didn't want to lose their control. The Holy Grail was a contract that enslaved all of mankind. Okay, so not only do I do this for the earth and humankind, but in order to the Great Reset, right? It's also for the angels. So the angels are working overtime right now. We are working towards a more physical alignment for the angels because we will more walk amongst them. We will coexist amongst extraterrestrials, amongst more of an ethereal transformation, 7D Pleiadian Council, or I'm sorry, Pleiadian Galaxy type stuff. Okay, that's where I transitioned us into. So this is the portal of the angels. I need to bring them through, and I see it like this tunnel of like a wave of energy, kind of like this 7D painting behind me that I did up there. See that? So I channeled that when I took us into 7D. Actually, the Pleiadians helped me paint that one. They gave me the image and how to do it. And I just followed that nudge. And then again, I see like these sigils of light amongst the wall of the portal and walking my DM and I with the angels through. So you are either shifting and healing and aligning more to the soul path right now, okay? Because this week we went through a timeline shift. I talked about that. We went through a transformational phase, and depending upon your choices determines where you go. Your perception, your perspective, your lens. Okay, so period. Something people think if I'm still alive, I'm rising. That's not true. You are either shifting and healing and aligning more to the soul path and heart center, or you are becoming more blinded to the light. Okay, because you cannot carry dark and light together. Okay, now before I do the healing, these were the cards that came through. I told you when we go through a portal, if you choose the right choices, love, clearing, soul growth, those kinds of things, once you're through the timeline shift and you've actually made the right choices that are hidden in disguise because it's about soul growth, you are open to the DNA activation. So this came through this week. So this week there will be DNA activations and 7D frequency rising. And this card is about forward momentum, building energy waves. So you keep moving forward. You don't stop, right? So sometimes we do things and we put it out there and we expect an immediate return. And that's not how the ethereal works. That's not how manifesting always works. It depends on how big the shift is, on how big the thing it is you're manifesting. It needs some time to be created in the ethereal and come back. But this one, if you look about it, it says keep going strong. It means don't stop the momentum. You have to keep going. There's no end. It's just keep going to rise, right? But even when you're creating something or a business or something, you keep going. You keep pushing past the things, learning new things. You keep pushing in the momentum. You keep creating. So when you're manifesting, you don't put something out there and the next day go, I changed my mind, right? Hopefully not. And so you keep going, you keep holding that vision, you keep holding that, being grateful that you already have it. But also in the work that I've done for the return of Christ, activating pyramids, all of these things, since 2019, I've been putting the work out there, doing the work and choosing love and rising the whole time. And then eventually it has no choice but to swing back around. Okay. So all the work that I've done is affecting the ethereal first, and it's going to keep swinging back around. So that's the way the energy works, right? So forward momentum, you are building energy waves. Everything you do is building energy waves. If you're constantly negative, you're building negative energy waves. If you're constantly positive and you're riding the waves of frequency and change, then you keep rising up and you keep building those waves of energy. Okay, so to truly shift your vibration, like you can transform really quickly and get really high, but if you don't continue that momentum, it will fall. Okay, makes sense? So it's super important to keep building energy waves and keep rising higher and higher. I told you when transitional phases, when we switch timelines, it's dependent on your choices where you go. So important choices ahead, path change coming. Due to choices, our paths will change. Okay, that's coming this week. So some people's paths are going to go this way and some are going to go this way. More people won't be able to hear you and others will start to hear you more. Okay, that's true. But not only that, because we're rising to a certain point right now, I get to take the angels through a transformation portal. They are going to be transforming. They are going to be becoming more able to be amongst the physical. I don't understand it all myself. Spirit says do this and I do it and then later I process it. That's the way it works, okay? So if you think you can understand what I've done, even if you watch it once, no. Okay, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of awakening. It takes removal of the shadow to see truly who I am. So don't try to think, just try to feel, okay? But so we have these cards coming in together. So I'm going to explain these. These are from my new deck, okay? So we have, these are very important to understand. Existential resistance. So where you resisted the change, the soul growth, the learning, where you fell into the resistance and you didn't push past it, where you fell into a lens that was not conditional love, takes you on a different soul path than others who have more of a pure heart, okay? Than others that know that we're all connected and know that, you know, we're all equals, that we all have to do the work, that it kicks all of our ass sometimes or another, right? Like it's never meant to be easy. And we're constantly surrendering to those changes. And here's the thing is it's easy as we make it be, right? If you don't want to surrender, if you don't want to let go, if you don't choose love and rise above, and choose that healing path, you go a different way, okay? Is it painful? Yeah, it's painful either way you go. Growth can be painful, and that's okay. But either way, we need to transmute those energies, okay? That's what this is saying. So even those that are going a different way, those of us that are rising, we have to transmute the energies. We cannot align with darkness anymore. Okay, we cannot. We cannot remain duality. We cannot remain wounded. We cannot remain lower vibrational things and beings. We are magical creatures. We are beings of light. You all are working your way back to the whole, the light of the sun. Sekhmet and Horus, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Adam and Eve. They are all united under Adam and Eve. Okay, that was the original. That was the original child of God, okay? And they're twin flames. So is so is Sekhmet and Horus, and so is Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And you can watch my whole entire path on this channel is me reuniting with my soul, my DM, on all three of those levels and clearing all darkness back to the beginning of time. So we have to transmute these energies as we rise. So in order to get those DNA activations, you needed to choose the right path, the love path, encasing more love, transmuting what is not, releasing what we cleared, okay? Getting very grounded, root chakra coming in here. So there's a root chakra upgrade and activation. We need to be grounded into the right things and into the right timeline. And no matter what, keep building that momentum of healing. It can't stop. We don't have time. We are rising now or we are not. And then you get these DNA activations once you transmute all the energies that is not, and if you fell into the resistance, then you go in a different path and you don't get the DNA activations. Okay? That is the message that came through today. That is the return of Christ, and I've talked about it diligently through all of the work that I've been doing, and a lot of it's on this channel. All of the moon healing, all of certain parts of it are not all on this channel, because God had me put it in the path to righteousness. Because if you don't have a pure enough heart, it will hurt you rather than help you. Okay? You have to be ready to grow as a soul and to rise above and to choose love. It's as simple and as complicated as we make it. We are all as strong as our weakest link. So you have to be aware of what you're paying attention to. Okay? I need to grab my drum, apparently. So let me do that. So I'm a little bit different. Yes and no. There's people who do light language, right? But mine is slightly different. It's language of God. The way I do things is however Spirit guides me. I dropped a couple of my cards, but I already gave them, so I'll pick them up later. So all I ask is you let go of all expectations and all judgments. Don't try to understand here. Understand here what I'm about to do, okay? This portal is not going to be able to be accessed by all. Normally I will do these in a workshop, but I feel like the only ones that are fully ready might be my DM and I. So if you choose to partake and witness, you can gather a little bit of it, but it may only be what you're ready for. Okay, so I don't know. I make no judgments to the path everybody is on or where they're at, but I can tell you, those that throw judgment at it, it hurts you. So don't do that, okay? Just be open. Be open to witness. I don't know what's going to come through. I really don't. I just need to bring it through. It's a portal of sigils and angels rising, okay? And that's all I know. So I have lit my candle, which is down there. These are candles that I make. Everything I do is filled with the high potency of the sun and the moon and Christ light, period. Direct line, direct connection to it. And then I have actually this table. You see this table right here with the ascension sphere? It's right next to me. Okay, so the energy truly is physically here as well as in the image for you to see. I might take the camera off me. I'm not sure. I might just leave it on. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure how to do this one because it's not my usual Monday video, and I don't know how many people are going to be able to stay with me this long. Hopefully you all can understand what I'm saying. But you see, the thing is where the shadow lies, you truly can't see all of who I am. You might be able to hear me. You might be able to see me physically. You might think I'm just like you. You might think that, you know, it's my ego talking. It is not. I am not like the collective. I'm the one who brought the divide. I'm the one who brought the return of Christ. Okay? And the rest of light workers and star seeds are here to help the vibrational shift. They're here to help others rise as well. They're here to provide guidance from God. And so we are all connected. Okay? So keep in mind, I take nothing away from others. I'm just not others. My purpose is different, and rightfully so. Okay? I am that. I am the return of Christ. I am the sun, the moon. I repaired the crystalline grid. I brought down all Christ's light, brought down the blood of Christ, the resurrection, undid the Holy Grail. The work I've done is not normal. Okay? So please understand that. I take away from nobody, but I can't be something I'm not either. Okay? So I'm going to light some Palo Santo here. And I'm going to call on the creator of all that is, all of the angels, to be with us here. So I need to call in every angel. Every single one of them, of course, except for the fallen. The fallen, if you watch my channel in the birthing of the new earth, lose the light and the heartbeat. They are no longer allowed to have a heartbeat of God. They are completely detached, been removed, been undone from the power grid. Mount Shasta was part of the false veil and part of a false energetic system. So the fallen angels are not a part of those being healed or transitioning. They will be part of El Diablo, of the matrix of the darkness. Okay, so anybody who becomes fallen will have zero light. So what God says, Judgment Day really is you reap what you sow. It's all free will based, all karmic based. Some will stay here. Those are the ones rising, pure of heart, willing for soul growth, can see clearly through a lens of love the whole way, through all choices. Some will go, are those who make it through certain portals, but not all. So they'll go to the other side, where they still have lessons to learn and karma to clear. You can no longer do that here. And then the fallen, those are the ones who will never know life this way. They will have all light removed completely, all souls of the one returned back home. So that was part of the rebirth of life in the new earth, is calling all light home. So even all divination tools have to be called home. If you have shadow, you cannot use them. Okay? I don't care what kind of healer you are. I don't care how good you are. If you do not choose to remove duality, you cannot use divination tools either. That is the return of Christ. That is the great reset of mankind. So while I was bringing through the return of Christ, God had me do my alchemy academy. And then he also had me teach, and I didn't realize this at first, but he kept telling me I was going to have to reteach how to heal, because everything's being brought back to the whole. All fragmented pieces are being brought back to the whole. And if you don't relearn how to do the things through pure light, you're not using them right. So you can't use anything through a lens of shadow at all, right? We cannot be duality. Goes deeper than you know, even into the tools of divination. So if your ego is sitting here telling you, I don't have to rise, I don't have to heal at all, I'm good. You are good. You can choose that through free will. You just can't hold any light. So you won't be able to use God's tools where there is not pure light. Okay? And you can watch that in the rebirthing of New Earth and everything that I've done. All right? So let's get ready for today's healing. I remove all energy that does not belong. I call in every single angel and being that will be going through this portal and transitioning into New Earth. Like living amongst, so how do I put this? So what I see is mankind, us that rise, it will be as almost if we're parts like on the other side now. So we have to expand so much that it's almost as if we're 25% on the other side. And for angels, they are going to be becoming more able to be amongst mankind, amongst the earth. Okay? Which also makes sense, because in my alchemy academy and things, you have to align with the new elementals too. So this is all kind of making sense for at least some of us. Okay? And if it doesn't for you, just witness. I have to put this out there because it's time. It's just time for the angels to transition and through the portal of sigils and angels rising. Okay? So we will walk amongst the gods and the angels once again, just as we used to. Okay? All right. So again, I've called on the creator of all that is and all the angels to be with us today. All the angels will come through this portal. It might be the Sphinx. I keep feeling the Sphinx, but I'm not sure. I make no judgments. I'm just here to bring it all through. Okay? I do own the rights to the music that I'm about to play. So you should be able to hear some of that. I own the rights to it. It's 639 hertz, 963 hertz, and 852 hertz. It's also available on one of my 3 channels, my Hertz Healing Ascension Music. All things I do are Return of Christ related, Ascension related, as I am an Ascension Master. All right, so for those who wish to partake and witness the healing, it is for the angels to rise. It is for the angels to almost like a reverse portal of life, where they get to come through into the more physical realm soon. Okay? On the other side, we will coexist. It is 7D. It's a more ethereal existence. So for those who still don't believe in angels and aliens, they're not quite ready yet, right? But we will be walking amongst the angels, the gods, and what you would call ETs, extraterrestrials, all of it. Okay. So I'm just going to calm the energy. I'm going to call in every portal that I have created and activated. The portal of time. Portal of the gods, Fiji. My pyramid activation at Lake Titicaca is being called in. The energy of my DM and I. We will be walking, my DM and I. We'll go through 3 portal phases before we walk through the portal of time. This is considered a portal of time, and we will walk with the angels. So that's important because the angels need to transition into a physical existence going forward. Again, this is beyond our limited mind. But what I do, I have changed everything, okay? I'm not normal. The work I do is not normal. I used my light to activate the pyramids. I moved the sun. I moved the moon. I undid all darkness of the moon. This is true. Okay, so this is not normal. So I'm also saying we will be shedding 3 layers of skin. So like 3 layers of existence. So I see the Galactic Council off to the back right of me, all sitting like what looks like bleachers. Saint Germain coming in with the Akashic records, and they will just remain open because I feel like all of the saints, all of the angels, all beings of higher frequency will be able to transition into New Earth if they choose to live amongst mankind. We will coexist once again as we used to, back in Atlantis and Lemurian time. Lemurian is when Atlantis began to fall, and some of them took part in that fall. So there was a big transitional phase then. They shifted the poles, they created Mount Shasta, they took the Earth's root chakra from Fiji and placed it in Mount Shasta, and I undid that. Okay, Mount Shasta part 1 and 2, Fiji part 1 and 2. Only Fiji part 1 is on my page. Part 2 is in the path to righteousness only. Because it is the portal of gods. So all of that is being called in. The Sphinx energy, the portal of time is being called in. All of the planetary alignments are being called in. So I All gods are stepping forward. The cherub angels are stepping forward. Archangel Azrael is putting up a protective bubble of light. I am given a scroll, at least one, at this time. So I am with my DM. I feel him with me in the energy, big time, holding my hand right next to me, my equal, my light, my other half, my soul. I'm wearing a crown and he is wearing a crown. And God is placing these. So God has come in, you guys, and I'm just processing everything that's happening. But God is placing these, what looks like these fur shawls over my DM and I, and they're kind of white. They're white with a little bit of spots on them, and it's what royalty wear. That's what I'm hearing, royalty of God. So I have the staff of the sun, and my DM has a necklace with moonlight. So I am now speaking through the sun and the moon. Be prepared for transitional phases. Transitional phases beyond which your mind can do. New ways of communication. New ways of understanding. Portal of time is in front of you. We must undo what once was. And make way for what now is. You need to understand, God says, that this goes back to the beginning of time, the creation of life. I will be taking us through another phase of the creation of life. Rebirth, life, death, transition. Reset of mankind goes back to the creation of life. These are not things man can do. They are things man barely understood. Especially under the veil of illusion and the energy of confusion. The veil has been undone. Some of us are understanding more and more as we rise. And others are shutting down more and more and more. There will be an illusion that you think you can see. But unless you see it all, you are being lied to. So you should be rising more to who you are, more to who you are, more to what was done. There is a bubble being brought into this space. I'm calling on the energy of the north, the east, the south, and the west back to the north, fully aligned, anchored in to the highest divine light and support. Calling in the energy of the crystalline grid, the flower of life, and the ascension sphere you see right with me. Every pyramid activation, every portal aligned and vibrating diligently. Massive waves of Christ's light coming down and rising up from the earth. The earth is moving. She is transitioning. She is actually rotating in a different manner than she did before. They will recognize this more and more. The old world is dying. Even more and more than you know. It is time to let go even further. So as a reminder, this goes back to the beginning of creation of life. I am a god of time. I am a god of life. It's not time as you think. It's breath. It's life. Heartbeat. Vibration of the one, the sun, and the moon. So just as when people are born, we transition through a portal of light to come back into a physical form. All living creatures with a soul of light to do this. When they are born again, into a physical form. Based on purpose, hall of information, or what you call Akashic records, recording, and God's implantation, like what He deems fit for your soul. It's an agreement of free will. What God places into your soul is like a coding of light, not of numbers, but of light codes. So this portal I will be bringing the angels through is like being born into physical form, with implementation of light knowledge into their soul from the light of the One, like a downloaded blueprint and guide of purpose, meaning of life, soul path understanding and alignment, and so on. All light code frequencies applied. So purposes they can rise into, knowing they can grow into, and so on. The only ones walking through these portals are my DM and I, and the angels today. So this is the portal return of life, of birth, on New Earth. So there are 13 gates to heaven, and there is only one to New Earth. Through rebirth, through transformation, through light code activation, and divination implementation. The coding of life, all connected to the source of the One, the light of the sun and the moon. Today, it is time for the angels and my DM and I to come back through the portal of life, which I didn't know until just today, just a bit ago, and just now. But the angels need to transform. That's what the purpose of this is, truly. We need to transform. We need to transform and be reborn from a soul of light into the capability of physical form, rebirth, life, cycle. But this is different. In some ways, because of the ascension, the great reset of mankind, the recreation of Adam and Eve, all fragments of the One returned home. So I see my DM and I'm wearing this very thin natural material white gown. And he is wearing a very thin natural material white dressing. He's carrying the light of the moon and a crown on his head, and the fur God placed on him. He has a thing on his wrist that is related to the thing on my wrist. In the spiritual realm, in the ethereal, connections and alignment of the soul. We are barefoot, and we will begin shortly walking a path, and there will be 3 portal gates, like 3 3 layers of light that we will go through that will help release and heal what is not. One is of rainbows, one is of blue and white, and one is of violet. And then the angels will follow behind us in through the portal of time, the portal of birth, the portal of return to life, with the implementation of light codes into their soul of creation, for purpose, abilities of divination, understanding of life, meaning and journey, goals to meet, and so on. Just like when we are all born. We all have this blueprint we carry with us that comes from your journey and that of God for you. Always to learn more ways of love and light, more ways of growth and communication, purpose, unique and collective. Rebirth of the angels into a physical form. The presence of God is all amongst this space, so be mindful. It's truly heavenly grace. Like as if we are in heaven, on the other side with God, whatever you want to call it, before we go through the portal of life and rebirth to the other side in physical form, beyond Dua. It is my DM and I and the angels at this time. If you wish to choose to try to receive, you may do so. But truly depends on where you're at with your shadow and the alignment to the sun and the moon, Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus. For the true king and queen have returned and will be new earth. So as I'm doing this, though, I'm getting an image. There is a volcano and like this massive, like I see lava pouring down a volcano side. Volcano eruption near. Something big. Do not fear. Bawa eleon konto wantaralaw. Tibele kendala kontrawa. Puyo kumbolo wantaraw. Laki antaralo koto wantaraw lo ile. So as I do this, I will open up a portal for the angels and my DM and I. And as we walk down through the portal or in through the portal, it will bring a massive wave of pure Christ light. The earth is now ready to handle. She is now ready for this line of life. A new portal of life, rebirth. Not built in karmic return, built in purpose of love, life, God. So what I am gonna undo first, so when they handed me scrolls, I felt like there were 3 parts. But what I need to do first is undo the birthing portal of karmic return. We will never be able to return here again for karmic repair. So that portal is being cut off. It's being undone. So it's more complex than you know. So as I'm undoing this portal of birth through a karmic timeline, through like a karmic path, there are different frequencies aligned to it. So like different planet frequencies of the past. These are old ones that I have since undone and changed and rearranged and new birthed and new earth. So this makes a lot of sense to me, but it might not make a lot of sense to all of you yet unless you've watched and diligently done all the work with me. But the old planetary alignment system has been undone. The old portals of rising through a karmic path. So as you used to come through it, you would accept the journey through into a karmic play out. And so the portals were a lower frequency. Connected with planetary alignment that no longer exists. So I am undoing it through all the waves, of light. All the alignment of the planets that used to be there. It's like undoing waves of light. And I have a headache doing it too. I need to slow down and embody more light as well. So I feel like God's hand to my chest. It's massive, it's pure light, and it's placing in all of this divine frequency. And as it's coming in, I feel it releasing things that are not. So I have undone the portal of life for karmic repair and reckoning. And I am recreating the portal of life for the new earth, for love, for light, the angelic return, and the gods return, and they will all walk amongst us again. Rebirth. So I will now create the new portal of time. It has different portal connections. So beings from all different light systems can come through. So when we are born, the physical components comprise, like they come together. And then the soul of life comes through the transferic space. So it's like a transferic space. It's a portal of light that we kind of transition through and we come into the physical form. I can see it like forming, and it's connected to all the new planetary systems, all the new planet alignments, the directional phase, the blueprint of life, the new earth blueprint, God's light. There was no veil to come through. On this one, there's no lower frequencies to transmute through. All pure divine light. Portal of life. And I'm filling it with light language of God. Like a programming of light. I don't like the word programming, but a input of knowledge of light. So it's like I can see myself going and pushing through all this information. It's hard to explain how I'm creating it. It's hard to explain what I'm doing in this portal. But I'm bringing through waves of light frequency, of knowledge, of power activation, filling it with all waves of light creation. And it has different portals that align to it. So you know how you would hear about people who are like Pleiadian and Arcturian and Orion, and they're different portals that would connect to the portal of life. So different energetic waves that would connect to the portal of birth. And that's what I'm doing. It's like all of these umbilical cords kind of a thing coming into one portal of life that allows existence on earth to be born. Surprise. Time to be reborn on earth. This makes sense. So on day 8 of New Earth Rebirth, I took us through the portal of life, death, rebirth cycle, where you will go to the other side and get a heart review, a life review. You will get a download of the understanding of all that is you. And then through the rebirth cycle, all that is new is implemented, put into creation of the soul of the light of the one in you, and sent down through the portal of life. Rebirth. Wonderment. Kumbhawa existence. We are transitioning through portals, even if that doesn't make sense. And as light and free, the more free you are from the shadow, from the shackles, allows you through all of them. This cannot be a karmic repair earth anymore. You must be free of lessons to learn. And unless you can see all of who I am, you are not ready. So we will keep rising until it is completely done. But we are closer than you know. So everything I kind of sent to this portal is creation. It's like creating, it's forming. All these light codes, all of this information, this knowledge, this purpose is forming, creating. It comes from the other side and reaches down into life on earth that we will now know. The angels, the gods, will be able to come through them and to walk amongst the earth like we did before. Return of the gods and the angels. The angels are ready to come through now, and the gods will come through as it's done, because they are working and helping the transformation more than you know. But see, the angels can't go to the other side. They cannot go where duality resides anymore. So you are either rising to hear them more, or you will be cut off more and more. You may hear things, but it may not be God. Only those rising will be able to. On this side. Great reset of mankind. So now we'll begin the preparation for my DM and I to come through this portal, and the angels will be right behind. So there are beings of light, like a sentient being. They look Pleiadian, coming up to the energy of my DM and they are starting to fragment the soul a little bit, is what they're calling it. So it's like opening up our frequency, our energy, our light of the soul. It's opening it up. So I'll be quiet for a moment. Oh, the chills. Woo. Soon we will unite. Together we are aligned. So I see our soul. I see the soul. I see the soul. The alignment of our soul is full and complete. It is as if we are light. We are light. Open, fragmented, open, open, aligned, open, light. And then what's weird is they like bow to us, which is so weird to me. And we will begin now, hand in hand, walking this path of light. My DM and I. So just walking, we're just it's like light, it's like a path of light. And there is like a barrier, 3 layers of a barrier coming up. The first one is blue and white. And we will begin walking through the blue and white barrier of light. And as we walk through this barrier of light, it is going to remove any fragmented pieces that cannot come through. So I can feel it's like we're starting to push through the layer, like almost like a bubble of light. So we're completely pushing through and into this blue and white flame, like energy light. And I can feel it begin to like defragment energy waves, defragment light frequencies. It's hard to express what I see. So I see all these like light waves and frequencies transmuting and transforming light within our soul. Our physical bodies included. Expansion of the whole. We are in the center of the first wave of blue and white. And I feel it like pushing out. It's like pushing out waves of light, removing them, transmuting them, as we are working our way through the totality of the first wave of light. The angels don't have to go through these waves. That's because we are on Earth. They are not. They are in the ethereal. On the other side. In the energy waves of existence of light. And they are preparing to birth through the portal into physical form once again. To walk amongst us, the gods and the angels, once again. To return to a place of beauty and heavenly plight and abundance and wonderment and universal flight. The return of information and technology, the return of knowing, the return of light. We have now made everything right. And we are in the transitional phase now where we are ready and processing the rebirth cycle. So we are coming out of the first wave and going into the second shortly. So we are walking now through like this path of light. And it's almost like walking up. And we are now making our way into like this violet looking portal, like the violet flames, like a color of light. And we are going in to transmute everything that does not align. Cellular reconstructioning is what it's calling it. So this is a portal of cellular reconstruction. DNA, all of it. Repair anything that was needed that wasn't quite done. Whatever. I see us as like these fragmented light, just like light. Oh, I feel it. This light is like working through our light and our physical vessel. Cellular reconstruction. It's removing anything within our physical vessel as well that does not compute. And then I see God. God is putting in special things into my DM and I can't quite put together what the totality of what it is, but it's like these light frequencies into our solar plexus area and our heart flame and our blueprint and our DNA. We are the direct creation of God, my DM and I. So are the angels, and so are the gods. It's like sending waves of light through the portal I created. I can feel it. I can feel the releasing and transmutation of weird energies. Light-bodied creation, ethereal expansion, DNA, redemption and alignment. Our souls are more becoming one. So he was a walk-in, and I can see this now. Like more. Our souls are like... How do I say this? Light waves of becoming one in the totality under the sun and the moon and the light of the one. Like completely combining agility of DNA and understanding and purpose and meaning and rebirth cycle. We're preparing now for the rebirth. We are preparing now for the rebirth. Also, something about the sun and the moon, we are putting like new language of light within them. New codes, new purpose alignment from the old world to the new one. So we are coming out now of the second wave of light. And we are beginning our journey towards the final wave of light before the portal, my DM and I. And I see us more as very large, fragmented light soul pieces, like souls. And we're just walking this path, and I just feel more free. And it's also affecting like my central nervous system, my brain synapses, everything. Because it's also in physical form, so this is different. When you come through as a soul, like the physical form, it knows what to do through those frequencies. And so it's all happening at one time for him and I right now. So we are reaching our way to our final layer of light. And once through, we will walk through the portal of life with the angels right behind. Many of them. I see many of them. These are every angel being God, created by God. So we have seraphim angels, cherub angels, cherubim, like there's so many here. Warriors of light, redeemed light. My DM and I are making it into the final wave of light, and I feel it like pressure rising from my feet to my solar plexus. This one is rainbow rays of light. Soul transitioning into physical form. Cleansing, healing, and alignment. I almost feel like I went into like this weird bubbly haze. Detached from everything except for my DM. I can see things changing from our eyeballs to our hair. I can see things changing, what we will be as we continue transitioning and transforming our physical vessel to match that of our soul's purpose, ties, and alignment in new earth. It's even beyond what we can understand in the mind, but I can see it. Like light codes going in and causing waves of change, waves of birth, and helping to remove what is not. I am free from the fragments of before. I am ready to be new light. We are that. We are that. We are that. Now, here's the thing I'm seeing here. All of a sudden, while we're in this last bubble of light, I see our coding going into the angels. They are deeply connected to our light. and the gods, of course, all gods, but this one's specifically for the angels. They're ready because their purpose is served. We are transitioning. This is a great rebirth of life. So they are not working so much to help guide people anymore. You must work your way through free will choices. So your higher self is helping you more than anything at this time. And the gods are working amongst the transitional of the portals. So that's what I'm saying. The angels are ready to go through the portals of life. The transitional phase of that. So what I'm doing today will take time to process, but it's already in creation. My DNA and our chakras are changing. I see that. So our chakra blueprint is changing and transforming and communicating and aligning as one. I feel it. It's beautiful. I feel it a lot in my solar plexus. And then I have like these waves of chills and beauty and warmth, and I feel the angels. Like I feel them on a soul level. They are deeply connected to our soul, to our light. Deeply. For protectors, for purpose, for wonderment. They work through our light. We are now coming out of the rainbow bubble. And we are even more soul fragment. We are just a beautiful soul of light. And we will now begin to transition through the portal of life with the angels right behind with us. So as we start walking through this portal, I see like this sigil light language floating amongst the portal. And it's so strange. You know how they talk about when you're born, you go through the portal of light? It looks like light, just light waves. And it has like all of this coding, this language, this knowledge within it. And as we're beginning to walk through, our soul is responding to it. So it's like reading it. It's helping to create the waves of creation through God's eyes and our choices. So much power, like all of this light coming into our soul. It's so weird. It's like this waves like into our souls. And I see the angels walking through. You can see as the angels are walking through the images of their bodies, the images of what they will be. It's so weird. So I can see the images of what the angels will be. It's very quick. It's like a quick flash of visual, and I see them in physical form. It's going to be quite different. Life will be quite different. Much more vast. Birth on the new earth will be bigger. We will be larger creatures. We will be larger, filled with more light. Filled with very high frequency, very massive waves of light. Able to communicate with all life forms. Able to see things in sigil forms in the ethereal. Like right in front of us, we'll be able to see things in the energy. Telepathic communication happens through our entire physical vessel, through our entire being. Like you will feel all these waves of communication, not just in our brain, in our skin, in our bodies, through waves of light. I'm getting so many chills. A very high potent ability to communicate through all waves of energy and sending out waves of energy. So seeing things in a whole different way. And I'm feeling like we're coming through the end of the portal, and it's like this very bright light. And it's almost like we push through the portal of light. First, it's my DM and I. We're going to push through the end of this portal of light. And as we do, it's like almost like this veil, right? Like this blanket or this curtain of light that we're pulling away. And I can see the new earth. I can see the new earth. And we come down as waves of light onto the earth. That's what it looks like. Like we come down through the energy as like this trickle of light and into our physical form on the new earth. That's what it looks like when a soul comes through. It's like this massive white light at the end, and we push through, and then all of a sudden we can become clearer in an image of earth and our physical being, our physical vessel, whatever that may be. And then as you enter completely into that space and become one with all that will be and that is, it's like this closure of the eyes. And I can feel where our soul is like reading. It's like reading the blueprint. It's like all becoming one, almost like atoms coming together, like, and like everything kind of transitioning and changing and molding together. And then I see all the angels coming through. It's like whoop, 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 whoop. I see it, you guys. They're like coming through that last little bit of light. It's like very bright. And you come through, and then you see like the earth and the world, and they're finding their vessel. It's like when a soul unites, right? Like when a fragment of the soul comes back, it's like the light finds that physical spacing and it goes down and it anchors into it. It's so weird. It like becomes from light to like this physical vessel. And it becomes one. And then as it becomes one, it's like all of the pieces come together and combine. And then it's almost like looking at a baby open their eyes to the first lights of life. So I'm just waiting for all the angels to come through and do this. Like I can see them. They're coming out of this portal, and it's like waves of light coming down and like going into physical form amongst the earth. It's beautiful. So beautiful. And also that portal is prepped for the gods to do the same. So when it is their time and it's complete, when the journey is complete and we are all in new earth, we will come through that portal of life. And then from that moment on, after the ascension is complete, the reset of mankind, anybody born in new earth will come through that portal I just created of life. No more karmic return. That was undone today. There was something about a volcano shift this caused as well. Like lava spewing out everywhere on the other side. Like the oldness, the old energies. They're on that other side of the barrier. I'm in new earth. Today, we created the portal of birth and life. The rebirth portal into the new earth of life, and the angels came through. They are transitioning into birth, into the new earth. So this will now begin to play out and continue until complete. It is now created in the ethereal. We are now prepping for birth. Transitional phase of birth has begun. That means the end is more closer than we know. So as we came through, remember I have to say this too, the volcano is relevant because as we did this, the waves of light that came through, it's like these waves of light came through with the soul. It's magnificent. And they're so palpable. It's so much light. So much waves of light came through today into earth. A new portal of life that is higher frequency than before. So these energies are very potent. Very high frequency and very pure. And this is beyond the limited mind space. I am not normal. I never claimed to be. None of my work is. It is like nothing you will ever get to see again or ever have seen on this side before. Not in a very long time. And now I see life amongst the new earth. I see birth. I see my DM and I see the sun and the moon and the trees. The trees are all expanding, very massive. The colors are so beautiful. And I see angels walking amongst us now in physical form, whatever that means for them. It's different. Just so happy and such beautiful life rebirthed into the new earth. So today was the portal of life and rebirth. No more karmic cycle. The karmic portal was undone. And it feels so good. I so love my DM. I'm so blessed to be with him. I just love him so much. And I can't wait to see who gets to rise. And I just truly see us in the new earth. So I will return to my space and time now. This journey of the ascension has been completed. For those who witnessed and tried to partake for any healing they could, I thank you for being here. Be aware of anything outside of love coming into this space. So much love. I'm ready now to prepare for rebirth. I feel like I'm just fully coming into my presence. So much love, my friends. I'll see you next time. I close out this space and I put up so many protections. It is time now to prepare for birth. I'll see you later.